Senor Ortiz. We
Hey,
are not live, but we ready to get this thing kicked off. Are you ready, brother?
let's do this, man.
Let's do it. Hey. What do KTTV? This is KT, and we are here for another episode of the Administrators Podcast. I am your host, KT, with my co-host,
JoJo, baby.
Hey, man. Woo! You know, we got a lot of games coming up, so it is only right that we did not leave y'all without the content, but that we dropped it on a Sunday so that we can have something for y'all on a Monday night. So, what it do, brother? How have things been going on your end, man?
Man, I tell you what, dude, this market got me shaking my head a little bit, but life, it's been all right. Been a little busy during the break.
Yeah.
Got to spend time with family, but it was all good. And now back on that grind at work, man. Back on that grind at work.
Look, man, that New Year's situation, that bliss that we had for those 2 weeks was very short-lived.
Yeah.
After that, it is back to the hustle and back to the grind, man. So I will say that everything has been rocking and rolling over at the ALC school. But look, man, we know it's on the home stretch right now, man. I was looking at something the other day, man. Teacher say, you look, man, we on the home stretch just trying to survive. Ain't no goals. We got one goal, just survive. Hey, man. Look, man, for the markets, dude, I've been seeing a lot of things going red, been seeing a lot of drops. We got new president, but we also had high job numbers. And so where we were looking at rate cuts, we already got, I think, 2 rate cuts so far. Now they're saying that it is possible that we could be getting some rate hikes. So all the things that we were hoping for and making money off of could be off the table, man. They say the jobs numbers are doing good. And you want people to be working, but at the same time, man, you want these profits too, man. So we can't find a good balance, man. So I think I'm looking forward to tonight, man, where we can kind of get in some of the plays, kind of look at some of the heat map, fear and greed, because I'm telling you, once we pull this up, people will be able to see how bloody it is in these streets. And we're gonna have to make some decisions out here very, very, very soon, man. So without further ado, man, let's get into a little bit of this news. For tonight, no thanks. All right, we're gonna get this from E! News, so let me credit them so I won't get sued or anything. I don't know anything about that, but the time is coming, y'all, where it says TikTok plans to shut down in U.S. January 19th unless the Supreme Court intervenes. Now, when you think about the justices that are implanted inside of the U.S. Supreme Court over the past few years, they are all conservatives. And so I am going to say, and it's just me on a limb, that they are going to err on the side of not working with the foreign government or not working with the foreign company ByteDance until we get some straightening, because I think the whole thing is saying, and if we'll read through the story, but I'm thinking they're saying that if ByteDance wants to continue in the United States, then they have to sell to a United States company, because the whole biggest thing has been, what are you all doing with all the data that you have from all of those users? And I mean, hey. So let's jump into a little bit. It says TikTok time in the United States may be up. The social media platform says it's planned on shutting off in the United States on January 19th, unless the Supreme Court can strike down or delay the implementation of a law intended to force ByteDance to sell to an American buyer. Last year, President Joe Biden signed into legislation to remove TikTok from U.S. app stores and prohibit internet providers across the nation from allowing access to platform if ByteDance cannot sell to an American company by January 19th. Looks like we're at a stalemate. ByteDance says, nah, not gonna happen. The legislation was put in place amid concerns of China possibly using TikTok to spy on U.S. residents. You know, you think about they got so much, dude. I opened up a TikTok shop, and when I tell you, it took me all day to get all that information that they needed to get set up as far as my business, my EINs, my everything. They got a lot of stuff on us, bro. So anybody who's making money off TikTok, you have a lot more exposure to China than even somebody who just put in their information to become a user. So it is crazy on the information that they have. And so I can kind of see how the worry comes in, especially as we go back and forth with China. It says in response, TikTok filed an emergency motion for an injunction to stop the ban from taking effect, arguing that it violates the First Amendment and will generate substantial losses per legal documents reviewed by E-News. My biggest thing, man, is you have a lot of creators out here that are making their living on TikTok, right? You got people with millions of followers. Stuff is going viral on TikTok. And so what happened to all of that money from those users? And so that's why I wanted to highlight this story, because we may look into some of the other companies that people may run to, because those users have to go somewhere to try to get themselves going, man. So before we jump into some of those companies, man, just simply, what do you think about this stuff, Jose?
Well, I think that it's, from the beginning when TikTok came out and there was all this, wishy-washy, whatever they want to say, exactly what the article was saying. We look at TikTok all the time. People use it. They even if it was hacking into whatever, looking at stuff, people didn't care and people were using it. And so now you have that fear because it's going to be taken away. I think people are also thinking, what else can they take away? But, I did hear last week that, I don't know if it was fake news, so to speak, but I did hear someone say that Trump was going to try to get TikTok to stay and stay. And so I don't know how true that was, but I guess we'll find out when all this happens, because the rumor had it he had created a dance or something by, I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, look, man, we got what is today? What is the 12th? Today is the 12th. So we got a few days before it gets crazy in this thing, man. So what I wanted to do today was I wanted to kind of look at one company that could potentially be next up for users to migrate to. So let's jump into the charts real quick here. So for me, I was looking at Snap. And we all know Snapchat has been dead and gone, but we could have something going on here, man. We're looking at the, you know me, I'm a 4-hour rider, brother. And so as I look at reclaiming a trend and going to the upside, if you look right here, you got your 20, and we know that is where our trend. Look what happened. We have had the cross, and so it crossed over our 200. It just crossed over our 60, and it's going. What I did was I set an alert to say once we close above here, I'm going back in, man. I'm going in. I want to see what happened, because we know at one point, Snapchat was, man, let me see, what was it?
It was like in the
just July 24th, we were $17, right? And so now we at 9. Let's go over here and we can look and see. Look at the earnings that have been going up. I'm just trying to see what was some of the all-time highs. We got buys, we got neutral ratings. Yeah, man, it's hard for me to kind of see where we've been over the past year. So what we can always do, though, is we can go back to our 12-month chart. Bam. And now let's kind of see where we've been. So if we look here, At one point, we were all the way up to $30 on Snap, right? And so for this year, when we think about starting last year, we were at $21. So I'm sorry, not last year. My God. Okay, there we go, right here, bro. So this was 22.
Yeah,
it was $44. 23, we are looking at $18, 24, 17, and we're back down here at the 9. But like I say, we never know what's gonna happen. But those users have to go somewhere, bro. And so if they do make it out, this could be one of the places that we can go. So I did set me an alert right here. And if it goes above 1320, man, I'm gonna take my chances, man. Yep. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Another one that could come up from that is, we know, Google. Man, who does Google have? What, YouTube?
YouTube.
Do they have anybody else as far as social media? Not really, huh?
No, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, nevertheless, right now they did close below the 20. So of course we know that the trend is not heading to the upside right now, but things could change come January 19th. And lastly, who else may benefit from that is the lo and behold Old Faithful.
Meta.
Old Faithful Meta. And so when we look at Meta, they are above the 4 hour. We came down, but what happened? We got some rejection off the 4 hour, got a good bounce, headed back up. So right now, little pullback toward the end of the day. January, what was this? What was this, man? What they say, Friday, January 10th? Man, where we at, man? God, my God, bro, what is this? Okay, yeah, we right, we recent. Yeah, so let's go back and look. Let's see where we stopped at Friday, January 10th, right here. So yeah, man, we resting on the 200 for Meta. Go back over 4 hour, we still above the 20. Meta has been pulling back. I think I bought in, I bought back in maybe around 590, somewhere up in there. But I've been doing just shares because I think regardless of what happens with TikTok, Meta is going to be one of those ones with AI for 2025. And so, man, we just trying to get it. But man, so what do you think about those companies, man?
Man, I we used to talk about Snap all the time and play it on the up and down not too long ago, like you said, 2022. But Meta's always been one of our fan favorites, and you got the streams, you got the Instagram, you got the threads, all that. It's not going to go away. It's just that people. I will say that the popularity of TikTok versus Instagram and Reels you can't compare the two right now. So we'll see how it all plays out if, in fact, there is no more TikTok. But I like those plays. I like them, because I've been around long enough to know what Snapchat is and how it was long time ago. So I get it. I understand that Snapchat was. It was pretty nice. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, most definitely, man. So we'll see what happens. January 19th is the day. And so they said we will shut down in the country if nothing happens before that. So make sure that you are keeping some of these stocks like your Google or your Meta on your radar, because once again, all of these users who are making money from these stocks, they have to put that money somewhere. I think today I got an email and I got a few dollars from Meta for some of my content. Not that much, but it does motivate you to post just a little bit more to keep the bag coming in, man. So, all right, I think that'll do it for the news, man. What we'll do, let's take a quick break. And then when we get back, I want to kind of get into some of our heat check. So we will be right back.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and
All right, y'all, let's get into the heat check. All right, so what we'll do now is we'll get into the heat check section of the Administrators Podcast, and we will look at our S&P 500 heat map. We'll look at our fear and greed index, and we'll look at our VIX. And so just setting a preference for this as we get into our new year, these are not the only tools that we use when we trading, but these are some important tools because you always want to know the market sentiment as you get ready to get into putting your money on the line. And so the first one that we will go with today will be our S&P heat map. If I can find it, there we go. My God. Whoa. Oh, gosh. Bloody in the streets, people. Look, man, I'm gonna let you start with this, man, because I'm almost just hurt right now, man. What are you seeing out there with this? And what are your wonderings, brother?
Tech got obliterated last week, the week before, and so I used it as a opportunity to look at any current. I took one loss. But I had sold enough to where in reality it really wasn't a loss. But I held on to one contracts that I had for January for Apple. I held on to it too long, so I sold it at a $10 loss. However, I had already sold everything that I already had prior to that, so it really wasn't, a loss anyway. Same thing with some of the SPY that I had for January. But I used it as an opportunity to buy leaps for January and June. So I added to, or I repositioned some of the June that I had. And in one of my accounts, I did come up a little bit closer to March. And so I do have some March calls, in particular Tesla and, the QQQ. But I do think that, the stories, the news that I was looking at, tech is positioned to make a big run this year. I think with the AI, with all that's coming, some of them say that Trump is a little bit friendlier now on big business, corporations with, all this tech. So we'll see how that plays out, even though there is trouble in China. I saw the market as a opportunity to reposition, look at what we had, and to think about what can we do, because we were red for a while, and we are. When Kendra goes into this index, you'll see where it's at. But it's in my opportunity, in my mind, I thought of let's get some plays in there.
Yeah, most definitely, man, most definitely. And so once again, like he said, we looking at tech, and so when we think about why tech is getting obliterated and all of these pieces, our 10-year yield, when we look at it about, maybe last year sometime, this year it was 3.6, 3.7. Now it's about 4.7 and heading up to 5. Whenever that goes up, it is terrible for the markets. And who is going to take the brunt of that? Of course, tech will head first. And so then if we go through here, we're looking at NVIDIA down, Apple down, Microsoft down, Meta still holding, but we just talked about why Meta could still be holding in the game. But a lot of our plays, so you think about now, as we look at, what do you call that, man? Industrial. So we got Walmart up, we got Costco up, we got Home Depot up, we got Target. Target up, man. So all of those pieces over in healthcare and oil, and oil has been doing its thing. I want to come over to this ExxonMobil. So we kind of took a dive here, but if you look, November 22nd, we were 121, right? So we came down here and we did a little bounce. So Right here, we 105. So this is where you could have caught it because I'm looking even from this chart, looking at a little double bottom right here. Bam.
Mm-hmm.
Then we come up, bam.
Yeah.
And what happened? And then we got up. So that was a nice little move for you right there. But then, of course, we did do a sell-off. And so then when you look right here, 106, which still puts us higher than our bottom here, which was 105.76. But those are just some of the places that we're looking at. McDonald's taking a drop. So many people, man. Even JPM, who just got a price raise to 305. I think they somebody increased their target.
Mm-hmm.
Still looking rough. So many pieces just going on in the market. Like Jose said, if you have those short positions, January's, you got February's, even Marches. I got some March calls that I have been obliterated on because I didn't set a stop loss. And so now I don't know what would happen with those places because we just don't know what this market has to bring, especially if we are looking at rate cuts due to the job market being so good. All right, let's roll over to our fear and greed index. Let's kind of look at a little bit of the sentiment. All right, so on our fear and greed index, remember, I will set this up for you in just a term. So start nibbling, finding your positions, add a little bit more to your positions, hold, sell. It's time to get off that thing because you should have been buying over here, getting that money. So right now, previous close was 32. 1 week ago was 33. 1 year ago was 76, right? We got a new president coming in. He's all about business, deregulation, money for big companies. So just hold on, just be tight. But right now, like Jose said, we start repositioning. This is where you want to kind of start looking. Okay. And I will make an example of that as we look inside of, I'm just going to go to it. As we look inside of.
Thought that boy was about to shop a Sheen.
Hey, for real, man. If you're going to get it in, don't play no games. Right? So we look over here at AMD, right? And so we can see that, oh my God, wait a minute. Don't change, don't levels. Oh, get that back. All right. Here, we can look over here at AMD and we can see that they have been on the drop. Correct. And so we're about to break here. I think 114, if I'm not mistaken. I was looking some research. We got a bunch of buyers, as you could tell right here. And so I can move this down a little bit, kind of give us a better number. 114, we got a bunch of buyers set up right there, right? But the thing is, if this is crashed, I think that we are headed down. Whew, my God. Let's see where we're going to go next if this thing goes down a little bit more here. Let's see where we might find some more help. And this will kind of give you examples. Man, so right here, look where we at. We got like a 108 right here. That's somewhere we can kind of load the boat. We got like a 110 right here. And so remember, people, this is a $200 stock, right? You think at this time, we're not buying companies that we don't know have good CEOs and good structures in place because we want to make sure that even if we put this money somewhere, it's going to be somewhere where it has the potential to come back when everything gets going. And so that's why we say, as we look over at our fear and greed index, oh, wait a minute. As we look over at our fear and greed index, maybe right now you're buying some at 114, right? And then if we move down a little bit more, maybe you're buying a little bit more at 110. And then maybe you open that position up by the time we get at 108, because we know things won't be like this forever. Just 1 year ago, we were over here, extreme greed. So we know that things will not always be down. But how are you using this fear and greed cycle to be able to set up those positions, go back in just like I did, and then do your charting to be able to find those lines of where you should be going in. Now, under 108, hey, you on your own, buddy. Just pray right there. But luckily you'll be buying shares, right? Or if you're doing leaps on AMD, then you maybe averaging down in there because we know what goes down must
Come on.
up. Hey, all right, so that'll be there for that. Now let's go over to our VIX. So remember what we said about the VIX volatility index. This is basically how afraid are people to spend their money, right? Volatility up and down. In some sense, volatility is good because you can get some good rises. I've been working on some candlesticks. I put out something the other day to kind of show some reversal candlestick patterns. And so, man, did you have a chance to check out that post?
Yeah. That one on Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah,
man. And so, like, if you were looking, I knew that what was the price? I think it was 480. I mean, was it 580? Maybe it was 580.
580.
I knew 580 was going to be the level that we were looking for. It held there a few times, but I was waiting on that one thing to pop. And so once that one thing popped, I was able to catch me some shares, wrote it up to 580. I mean, not some shares, but some contracts, wrote it up to 583. And then, of course, I was looking for the rejection, saw the rejection, so took my money, got on about my business. But looking at the money in the charts, and so those are some of the advantages of having that volatility. But at the same time, it still is not that good. So looking at our VIX, we just coming back over, let's go over a 5-day chart period right here. And so let's see, what date was this? January 10th right here? Man, so we can see everything was high. We hit like a 20. And then that's when we came down. And so I'm pretty sure this is when the market started going back up. And then what happened? We got that reversal probably around here about 1850. And then that's when everything started tanking again. And then there we go. We ended at 1956 on the VIX. If you come back over here, 1.6, everything was looking good. We was hanging out. But we know that things can change so fast, man. 12.18, we got all the way up to $27. So it can get crazy out here in these streets, y'all. So, hey, just hold tight, man. Anything you got to share on that?
No, I just, you got to understand the VIX and the fear and greed to really know, thinking about buying opportunities or even liquidating, having cash and just writing it out. But I think this is good for people to see that you have, because the market plays along well with these indexes and that fear and greed. One thing that I wanted to, I guess to say in regards to all of this with the VIX and the fear and greed index is the fact that here in a couple of days, a week or so, we are going to start earnings. And so if you've heard the show before, you know that we talk about something happening in the market or something happening somewhere that is going to drive the market up or down. And this is and what I think is an example of the market being pushed down, because once these earnings hit, and we haven't had any issues yet. We haven't had anybody that's related to any tariffs, any laws that are going to affect anything for these companies. So I believe that the market is priming itself for a nice little run after we start this earnings season. So that's my take on when you put it all together and you think about what's coming up. That's my take on that part.
Hey, man, I hope so. My God, I hope so. All right. What we'll do, let's take a quick break. And when we get back on the Administrative Podcast, we'll do a little bit of trading with Ortiz. We'll be right back. All right, y'all, welcome back to the Administrators Podcast. where we are simply talking about getting to the money. I am your host, KT, and I am with my co-host,
JoJo, baby. JoJo's in the house. Yeah.
We are in the building. I'm just gonna do this for good measures. Oh, just because that Tesla is killing out in these streets, man. What is going on, man? But we know eventually everything is gonna come back together. All right, so what we'll do, it's time to get into a little bit of trading with or
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I...
Hey, okay, y'all. Jose, what you got for us today, brother?
Let's do this. All right. Oh, let me get it. Oh, why can't I see my screen? Oh, here we go. All right. Can y'all see this?
Yes, sir.
All right. So our first one, since we were talking about tech earlier, I am looking at the 7-day chart for QQQ, which is in relationship to the NASDAQ. So if we look at it, we are looking at our closing 507, 508 was what we were talking about for last week. But I want everyone to pay attention to this 37 on the RSI and the little gap that we have right here on our MACD before we get this close from our 20 and our 200-day. So what I noticed is that we did take a little. We've been sliding. I can see a little bit further down slide to the 504 area. But I do want everyone to look and pay attention to this 37. We dipped below last week, picked up a little bit, but we are right around that oversold again. And so I'm really, really looking at these tech stocks for next week. And then the other one, our heavy hitter that we do is SPY. And so when you look at our SPY on the 7-day, wow, last week we were up here at around almost 600, and we have dipped. So we're sitting at around 580 with a chance to go to 578, a couple of dollars more. But also RSI is 35. So we are looking at two of our indexes that are right around the oversold range. And so I'm paying very close attention to those two. Now, we know that both of these indexes are driven by individual stocks. So like KT said, my baby right here, we've got our Tesla, and our Tesla on the 7-day chart has been looking a little bit rough. But more important, I want to go back to the 1-month chart, and I want us to look at, I hope some people took profits when we were way up here. We started to dip. I know right around this area, I sold a couple of my calls just in case, and then of course, I sold again over here. Now I didn't sell everything. So right around 460, 465, I sold. So we took a dip down to 375, and we are trying to come up from this spot right here. So what I did last week was I took a chance to buy some more June calls for Tesla, and I did pick up some April calls. And so I know, we're sitting at the 42, not quite as low as SPY and QQQ, but nonetheless, we are sitting in that range where we might be thinking about trying to start minimizing or getting into it step by step, as far as, kind of gradually getting into your positions that like we are. I know KT had mentioned he has some leaps on some Tesla for January of next year. So I think it was a good opportunity to start buying. You can see the MACD when it started crossing here, we flatlined. And so I do see a little bit, a little bit of move that we can make possibly down here. We don't want to get too far, but I think the next stop we go to is right around 387 before we actually start to see Tesla on the move. But Tesla's got earnings coming up, I believe, end of the month. And so I do see Tesla. I mean, you got Elon Musk, and he's working for Donald Trump. So I don't see
Basically.
anything that's going to keep the stock from going back up to where it was. May not be as aggressive of a move up as it was as a move down for the past 2 3 weeks, but nonetheless, I do think it will go back up. And our other stock that we do talk about all the time, and I'm going to talk about this one in particular more so because we have hit oversold. So we are sitting under 30 on Apple. And this is where I was saying that, I sold what I had except for one, and then I ended up selling it on Friday at a loss because I did buy some June and January calls for Apple. So for me, Apple was a buy zone because if you look at the 1 month chart on Apple, you can see that we were down still. So I went all the way out to the 1 year, and going out to the 1 year, I can see that around this 235, we were looking at a double bottom. Not to mention a double bottom, but that 235 was a previous high. So to me, that signaled that on that 1 year chart, it was looking pretty good to start buying, even though our RSI on the 1 year is still 55. I looked at this and I'm like, yeah, it's go time for me for Apple, because then, like I said, I broke it down for the 1 month again, and I see that clearly we broke that channel. And if we do continue to go down, we might hit 232. And that's going to be okay because I'll buy some more because I don't have anything that is going to expire anytime soon. So interesting enough, we've been talking about AI. We've been talking about all this quantum computing, all this robotics. So KT and I were talking about some stocks last week, and I want to draw everyone's attention to this one called Richtech Robotics. And so I like this stock, and so did everybody else, from a time in which it has seen significant growth over the past 4 to 5 months, going up from the under $1 all the way to a high of almost $5 back as soon as we got back from the New Year's. So I'm watching this. Haven't dipped into it yet, but I am watching it because my expectation is for it to drop. I do believe that it's sitting right now at around 280. So I would love to catch it at around $2. If I can catch it at $2, this stock you cannot do options on it. So I'm considering buying shares. I haven't bought shares in a long time, y'all. So I'm kind of telling you right now that Richtech Robotics is something I'm very, very interested in. And so they are sitting at a 48 right now, RSI. Strictly when you look at technicals, like I said, I expect to hit $2 could be a prime time for me to buy some shares. So I would definitely pay attention to that. They've got some plans in the works for restaurants, different banks and stuff that are working with them on robotics to get some robots in there. And so that is what their specialty is. And then the last one that I want to look at is, what I was talking about earlier, too, when it comes to, that computing. And so we've got a stock that hit up around, $19, $20. But more important, we started way in under $5, way back here in the $2 range. Oh, what happened? And I don't know what happened to my stuff.
Oh, we can still see it on our end.
Oh, you still okay? Good. And so I'm looking at it. So we've gone from our 20 down to the 9 almost, and we are sitting at a 34. So if it can come down a little bit more for me at around 7, I think I'm going to start buying some contracts, because you can buy contracts on this stock. And so definitely RGTI, Rigetti, and Richtech Robotics. Those are the two that I'm really, really interested in at the moment. So, hey, y'all. And don't forget about that Tesla and Apple and QQQ.
Woo! Look, that is pretty much it, man. AI is just getting started. Nvidia are doing some new chips with the Blackwell chips that are coming out, so I do think they will have a pretty big year this year. He said, quantum is a little whiles away, and so that's why if you were into those quantum stocks, you did see a big sell-off. But the thing is, the future is constantly evolving, and so the market is rotating. Usually the people who are early to the party are the ones that get paid. I remember inside of our Discord, they called out Rich Tech when it was about $1. So rolled it up some. Man, I just made some money Friday off of shares. Man, I think I got them shares at, maybe like $1.30. Rolled them up to like $1.70, and so you get 1,000 of those. That's a nice quick $300-400 in a few minutes, man. So getting in there, understanding what's going on with the market, where is the money rotating? Because as we see, it's red out here in these streets, but it's a bucket somewhere every day. All right, thank you for those stocks, Ortiz. What we'll do now, we're gonna take one more quick break, and when we get back, let's get into a little bit of this platform probing. Before we call this thing a night. We'll be right back. All right, y'all. Shameless plug. If you have not, make sure you go to kttv.com. We got books. We got everything. Just go to kttv.com. Get locked in. Especially when you want to see some of these podcasts, you are always able to get in contact with the YouTube page, so that you are able to go in and see some of these playbacks to get the game. A lot of people want to find out where to put that money for the new year, and so this is free information, people, that we're doing every week. So please make sure that you get locked into what we got going on. All right, for me, let's get into some of this platform pro. All right, so for the platform probing, really, when I do this, I really just like to come on, y'all, and really just talk about the charts, kind of help you kind of look and see. And so what I was looking at today was United Health. And so I don't want to seem insensitive. I had a friend at school made me feel kind of awkward, because when United Health was right up in here, I said, you know what? I'm going to start buying. And I did. And so my boy said, I didn't buy the dip, I bought the dip. Kind of hurt me, RT. I was kind of insensitive, bro. That kind of hurt me, man. But wow. I knew that, just wow, bro. I was like, wow. But I knew that was the only thing that happened with this company, correct? So we had the killing of the CEO. Then there was a big revolt against healthcare and big pharma. And so, of course, they had this ride down. Let me see where it's at. Yeah, they had this ride down from 600 all the way down. So where were they at? Right here. This is when it started. And this was, why is this thing away? There we go. This was 628. And we end up going all the way back down to 476. And so the thing is, as I stated, nothing changed with this company besides the killing of the CEO. Fundamentals did not change. And so the owner was still in place. So the structures were all still in place. The board was still in place. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to find a CEO to just put in. And so that's why I tell people, hey, look, you got to live, right? Because The company kept going. CEO is gone, they're gone, rest his soul, but the company is kept going. They got earnings coming up this week, and so they just got a lot of price target raises. And so if you can see, we got down here, we found our floor, and now we've been on our way back up. We just reclaimed our 20 on our 4-hour chart. And if you can see that this 20 is already curving up, right? And so during after hours, so we ended at where 519, 520. Doing after hours, they are here at 530. And so that means now we have candles that will be closing over the 60, right? And so that just tells us that this 20 is on its way back up. And once it gets back up, I think we got a few price target raises to like 610, 620, all of those pieces with earnings. And so they are expected to do a little bit more for earnings. Let's go back and look. Let's look at some of our fundamentals over here. So they're saying that this is going to beat expectations for earnings when we go on the call. Let's see down here. Let's see what we got. So we got a sale on the technicals, but analyst ratings all say strong buy, right? And so I did grab a leap when I was down here. I think it did cost me about $2,000 for that leap, but I knew what I was getting myself into, right? Because I bought down here like $500, and we have a 640 price target for 1 year. And so when you think about $25 for my theta, then I can go $100 times 25 times 20, somewhere up in there, right? And so, but the thing is patience, grasshopper, patience. So that is one of the ones that I wanted to show you inside of the platform probing. But then I also wanted to come over and kind of look at this SPY and kind of show you what I was talking about the other day when I put this post up, because I want to show you kind of how to look at some of these reversals, right? So each morning I'm in this Discord with Chris Sane, and around about 8 o'clock he comes in and he says, "This is what's going on, family. What's up, YouTube?" All of those pieces, right? And so in the Discord, he said that we're looking in a range today between 580 and 590. Play the range until it breaks. So that tells me that I'm going and I'm looking for things to start to pop around 580, right? So we look at the day when it started. Let's go back here. Let's see if I can show y'all. All right, so this is when the market opened up. I think it was already dropping because in pre-market. And so here we go. We are bloody in the streets. I'm at work. Can't catch puts. I got to work. I can't do it, right? I just knew that before the market opened, I'm going to be looking at around 580. And lo and behold, what happened when we got to 579? Bam. We got this candle right here. This candle tells me that it's about to get real. So what I did was I went here and I looked over on my 1 minute chart. Let's see if it's going to show me the same place. Is this the same place? And let's go over a little bit more, kind of get into that one here. All right, so this is the same place. So you can see right here, this is telling me, okay, we may have found our bottom. We got a few things that's going on. Get ready. And lo and behold, look at that same candle right there. That same candle. And then next time, Thor popped. We got the Thor. We know that it is about to get real from that point on. So I said, I'm going to take my chances. Took my chances because I'm knowing that the money is in the charts. I did my homework. I've been studying my candles. And what happened, y'all? What happened? Woo, that happened right there. Okay, and so now when we're looking at this, bam, I got to go back over here because now I know that's a lot of noise in there and I could get thrown off my pivot. So I got to make sure I come back to my 5 minute chart, which I did, and I just let this thing ride. And so I did not sell until I came over here and I seen this candle fall below that 20. Now, don't get me wrong. When I go back over to my 1 minute, gosh, they do that every time. When I go back up to my 1 minute, because I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, this thing could get ugly soon. And so if you see that 1 minute, it didn't give me that big chart. It dropped. And so it was one big red candle on my 5 minute, but on my 1 minute, I'm looking at these candles because for me, the minute that this closes under this 20 right here, the minute that it closes under this 20, I'm saying, okay, this could be the time. I'm gonna go over here and look at my 5 minute and I'm gonna say, is it time? And I seen something ugly happening. It closed. Look where it closed at right here. On that 5 minute chart, look where it closed. Bam, it closed right here. I say, okay, this could be the time because I knew I'm already seeing things. And this tells me already this is a reversal. This is another counter that says reversal. That's just like if this would have been red and this would have been green. This tells me reversal to the upside. But right here with this red around it, that tells me reversal to the downside. Bam, take profits, get out of there. Now, the thing is, if you nifty, you take profits and then you buy you some puts. And then you just ride this thing on down. But all I'm saying is, this candle right here is what tells me that it's about to change, right? And so even if I went over to, because not only did this one do it, but look what we got here for NVIDIA, right? Bam, we got that same type of candle right here. Look at this candle, y'all. This told me buyers have showed up, right? Because right now, I could say this is a bull flag, bear flag, because we're going. If I don't break over this EMA, we could go back down, which we did, right? So bear flag, boom, we came back down, but that next candle, so this candle right here tells me go over to your 1 minute, see where we at, take your chances. And what happened? I get the buy signal, and then we ride that same play up for NVIDIA, right? Even Jose talked about going to the QQQ. What happened? We get that same candle right here. Thor shows up. What does that tell me? Go get your money, people. So learn your candlestick patterns. Be able to go in, look at your 1 minute chart, and just see where things at ahead of time, right? See what's going on this 1 minute chart, because that 1 minute is going to tell you in quicker time what's happening. Once again, the biggest thing that kind of piqued my interest was saying, okay, everything is bouncing off this chart. That means we're not going down more. And if we are, then I know I'm waiting on confirmation below and I sell. But if I don't get confirmation below, then we headed back up. Look, we had a little drop right here, but we had already went up a few dollars. We went up from what, 504, and then we already up here. We 50 something, 505. That's $1. That's a good move. We come back over here. You see this same one. We go from 504 all the way up to 506. Good moves, people. And then what happened? Man, I don't know if this is, I don't know if you call it. Is that a morning star? Is that what we call this, man?
Yes.
Right here, right up in here.
Yeah. Right next to that big red one.
Yeah. Then we got this little piece, and then we hit. So once again, understanding your chart patterns. I see this happening. I say, oh, I know what's about to happen. Boom. And what happened? You spend you a few dollars and you ride that thing all the way up. Now, the thing is, I didn't have to sell right here because what happened? It never broke below my 20 for the rest of the day. So if I just wanted to keep riding from if I wanted to keep riding from right here all the way up here using that 20, that's money in my pocket, people. And nothing told me to sell this, even if I go here and look on my 5 minute chart, right? Let me get back down here. So looking at this 5 minute chart, bam, we going green. Dang, see, it switched me over again. Gosh, where we at? Cripes, keep doing me like this, bro. Okay, well, I got to get the correlation. But anyway, where we at? Okay, here we go for the day right here. Bam. So look, we still at 504. We going above that 20. Nothing has told me sell yet. And we at 511. That was how many dollars is that, man? About $7?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Just think if you got 25 0 DTE contracts. People, the money is in the charts. So we go all the way over here. Nothing tells me to sell on this 5-minute chart until I get right here at 508. But by now, I'm already understanding that I have engulfed this candle right here. So that tells me it could be time to go. Once I see this close, yeah, it's time to go. I'm coming out. Boom. And then it just went on and did its thing because I know this is now a reversal candle to the downside. And where did we go? To the downside. So basically, all I'm saying is learn your chart patterns, stay on top of your 1 minute, stay on top of your 5 minute, right? Because that 1 minute, you're going to see things quickly. You get a little understanding, and then you go back over to your 5 for confirmation. So a confirmation on the 5 showed me, yep, we about to get ready to go up. Because what I want to see is I want to see this on the 5 minute. I want to see that right there on the 5 minute. That tells me it's a real hammer candle, right? And then after that, we headed on to the top. Hey, any way to explain that any better, or did I do it, Jose, some justice?
That was really good because you followed it through the progressions of it. Like you said, that Thor candle, and then you know, people have to know those charts. They have to know those candles themselves. So go back to the charts, y'all. Go back to the candles. Episode 5 or 6, whenever we were talking about all those different, hammer, inverse hammer, morning star, 3 kings, all that different, stuff we talked about before. And then you could see the bull flag they're trying to form too there toward the end. So just go back and review those charts. Yeah.
And the thing is, y'all, this is not money that we waiting on. This is all money that's going in your pocket that day. That's why we on a 1 minute or a 5 minute. When I'm trying to put it in for the long term, I'm on the 4 hour. But right now on today, I'm going between that 1 minute and that 5 minute, and then I'm going to get on about my business. All right. So that was pretty much it for our platform probing. Very great information today. I hope that you all were able to get something out of this. And we knew that the game is going to be tomorrow. I'm Minnesota Viking fans, so we will be going against those Rams. And so me and Jose said, well, we're going to make sure that the people got some food for the week. And so we will come back. And I think the national championship is next week. So we may do another one like this for y'all. But other than that, we'll try to get back live so we can really kind of follow up that first day of the market. But today, we still wanted to make sure that there was some food out there in them streets, man. So I think that'll do it for us, Jose. Any last words before we close it out?
Go Irish.
Hey, for real, man. We are sorry, Coach. We are very sorry, Coach. And UT didn't make it, man. All right, y'all. That will do it for the Administrators Podcast. This is KT and my co-host
JoJo.
Hey, we'll see y'all next week.
This is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood.
This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
KTTV.
KTTV.